Hi, it's Mr. S, and today I would like to do composite figures. Let me go over here. Composite figures. It's been a while since I'm gonna do this math stuff, since I've been out for weeks and I was just doing something that's not related to math. But anyway, so the goal and the overview for today is I just want to explore and show the websites that I thought would be helpful. And I'm going to do 3 Nearpod activities and 1 NCTM website article, not article, but activity. And I'm going to also show some suggestions, recommendations when doing this composite figure in the classroom or maybe even outside the classroom. Right, so here's a description of a composite figure. It's a figure that is composed of a variety of two-dimensional shapes. So taking a look at this, for example, has a rectangle, has a triangle, and another rectangle. This composite figure, especially when looking at area, you can calculate the area by adding the components up. Looking at this one, this one, this one, and this one individually, and then sum it up. Now let me just go to the first activity in Nearpod. I'm going to use simulations for all 3. The first one is, area model, Algebra. And it's Explore type, and there's a game type in here, but I'm using Explore type. You can check out the other game type if you want to. Alright, so what you can do in here is that in this 20 by 20, you can look at the area of a rectangle or square. You can drag and drop here and make the rectangle bigger. Click this red or this blue arrow to look at the different parts. Change the parts if you want to. Now, it has a gray line, and I like this one right here. It's going to shade in. Let me outline here, and I think that this will be kind of a composite figure, even though it's not really actually a composite figure, but it's just looking at one big thing, but adding these components. So on this orange, this big square is 10 by 10. This yellow is 1 by 10 rectangle, and this light yellows, each of them is 1 by 1 squares. And you can click here to say partial products. This is 100. The area is 100 in here, 80 in here, 80 in here, and 64 in here. And you total and sum it up, and you find the area of 324. If you don't want the 324 to be appearing, you can just click this minus button and hide it. Now you can change the format of this into this way if you want to, or just say I don't want it. You can also look at this model in algebraic form, one at a time, or just all at once. So this thing is not a composite figure, but I thought that concept of looking at different parts and adding up is the same. So that's why I just wanted to show this one. Alright, so next activity I want to go is Area Builder, which I haven't shown yet in other videos. And what you can do here is drag and drop these squares, and it'll show the area and the perimeter. If you want the length dimensions, you can check here. And you can create different shapes. So you can ask students, hey, I want you to create a shape that the area is 11. And they might do something like this. I don't know. Over here, if you click, you will see 2 places for you to create a shape. So I know like you can do like, hey, create area of whatever, or create a perimeter of whatever, but what you can do here is that, alright, use 4 squares and create different shape, like this. And you can ask students, hey, what do you notice? And they might be, one of them is rectangle, one of them is square, yeah. Or you can have students do this way and say, even it's different. Or you can look at the perimeter, hey, oh, it's the same perimeter, so let's look at this way and say, the perimeter is different, but the area is the same. You can ask different questions in here if you want to. You can say, hey, can you create the same area but different perimeter? Or backwards, like, same perimeter but different area. You can do different things in here. Alright, so next, I was just curious what that was, sorry. And let's go to the next one. Again, it's a simulation, and the last one is one I showed. It's the one I showed in the Nearpod introduction. And I've shown the level 1, but I'm going to show all 6 of those. So the first level is basically create the area of 18. So drag and drop the squares or the rectangles and create the area of 18. And if you think you got it, you just say check. And if it's wrong, it says try again. If you want the dimensions or the grid lines, you can check here. So that's the level 1. Pretty easy, simple, straightforward. Level 2 is going to ask perimeter. So it says area 20, so you thought you'd create area of 20, and you say check. It will be wrong because the perimeter is not 18 in this case. So you gotta find a way to do that. So you have to think 2 things, area and the perimeter in this level 2. Oh, start over, that means you're going back to this level, choosing the level. Level 3 is something different. Now it's asking for find the area, and you type it in and say check. Over here it's a green shapes. What you can do here is drag and drop and look how many green rectangles or green shapes will fit in, and then count. 4, 4, 4, 4, that's 16, 18, 22, and say check. Or you can say, maybe you can do this way. 6, 3. 6 by 3, that's 18, and then I'm missing 1, 2, 3. So that's 15. The other way, you can do that way. Of course, if you want the grid line again, you can click here. Now, level 4 is the same thing, except you only have this limited number of squares, or the green things. In this example, I believe you can only have 4. Okay. So what you need to do is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the length on here, and over here is a 4. So you notice that it's 4 by 4 in this big square if you want to see. And I'm missing 2 blank space, actually 3, and 2 halves. So that's actually 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 by 4 and then subtract 4, that's 12. And as the students get used to the level 3 and 4, you can just have students look at the numbers only and say, find the area. Now level 5 is similar to level 1, but except it's going to ask the students to use different colors. So half of them have to be this light colored green, and the other half have to be dark green. So create shapes, but half of them have to be this color, and the other half has to be this color. If the students are colorblind and are experiencing hard times differentiating, you can ask just let the students label like color A, color B. Usually it's in the order, so it might be easier to label if they want to. And the level 6 is it's adding the perimeter component, so it's getting hard, pretty hard. And I think this, especially the last 3 levels, are going to be a challenge for students. Alright, so let's take a look at the next one. It's the NCTM with myself, and it's called Shape Tool, and it can be used for pre-K all the way to 8th grade, and I even think it can be done for the geometry class in high schools. I hope it'll show up. And on the bottom, it has instructions. I'm going to reload the page and see if it will come up. Here it is. Okay. So it says, yeah, this tool can be used to create any geometric shapes. And what you can do here is drag and drop the shapes, cut, glue the spaces between, erase the things, rotate if you want to, flip them in different ways. You can change it to other side, reflection, and make it smaller, make it bigger, different color, connect or disconnect, and make it clear. And all the descriptions are around here. NCTM also suggests one thing that you can do in this page. It's tessellation, which is a pattern of shapes that tiles in a plane with no gaps and no overlaps. So, example would be using squares. As you see, there are no space between the squares and no overline, so it's not like this. So I can put the parallelograms too and say, hey, there's another tessellation. I can keep going if I want to now. Obviously this is not, unless I put something in here, if I can. And it's asking some questions like, hey, can you create tessellation of only using the orange squares and green triangles? Or whatever, other questions here. So it can be used for the composite figure. It doesn't have the dimensions, but you can use this to create a composite figure using different shapes. Right, so let me go back to the slide, and here is the suggestions I want to make in the classroom or outside the classroom. Have students create their own shape. One of the biggest things that students can do is to create their own thing, create their own question, which will help students not only to build their knowledge, but also like produce something that's going to be helpful when learning something. Have students share their creative figure, so that's going to engage students in collaboration and engagement, and limit the use of and be creative. That means, the ones that I've shown in Nearpod, like perimeter area and then use a different color, that's the limitation I'm talking about. Or if it was in NCTM, like create a tessellation but only use the triangles and squares and things like that. And you can even think about composite solids if you want to, like look at the volume and like surface area. But I would suggest the top first 2, maybe 3, be creative. Have students create something, not just like solving questions like that are on paper, have students talk to each other to engage. Alright, that's it. Bye bye.